Hello, this is Lisa Hazard and Misty Lure with the podcast We Are All Psychic. And today we have super special guest number one, always. They're all the very first super special guests. Her name's Sarah. Sarah, would you like to say hello?
Yay!
Hello.
Sarah,
Hello, Sarah.
Do you think we're all psychic?
Yes, 100%.
So how did you get there? What made you decide that?
It's funny because probably 15 years ago, I would have been like hesitant to say yes on that question because I grew up really Christian and really in like conservative household. But I really had a spiritual awakening in the last year, and that just blew my mind. And, just experiencing that, I'm starting to realize that we all are connected. We're all one. And we all have the same opportunity to connect with source. And I do think it shows up in different ways for everybody, though. I don't think it's all size fits all. I think some are born more gifted than others. I think that, and then also the gifts come differently as well. I'm an intuitive. I'm not clairvoyant. I can't like see things or hear things or in that way, but I feel them. And, so and I know some people can see and, hear and taste all those things. So it comes in just different ways, but I think that we all have some gift that we can tap into.
That's really cool. I think that's true too.
She put it in a very well way, didn't she?
Yeah, and it is interesting.
I like it.
I've spoken with clients and readers about how we all experience this differently, and the same client can go to 3 or 4 different psychic advisors and get the same basic answer, but they get the details differently. Like some see it, some feel the emotions, like, or they just know, or they hear it, or they have a spirit tell them, it's like all these different ways. And I've always wondered, like, I think our energy working skills are as unique as we are, and our bodies are, and our everything, it seems like it would be that way.
I would say so. And
like in our imagination.
Also, that's off the charts too, depending on who you're talking to. We can all see the same image differently in different angles and aspects and lights. And also, I just wanted to point out too that, like, even those who are super logical, most of them still will say now and again, "Oh, I got this gut feeling." It's like, they may not call it psychic.
Feeling. Yeah.
Especially watching sports. They're like, I just know they're about to score a touchdown, or I just know we're going to, like they get there. And gambling, people gambling.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is the lucky machine, and they just know it. And it will be then if they know it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think even those that are like, not open to the idea of calling it psychic, I think they're still feeling it too. They're just calling it something else.
I think so.
That's so funny. That's so funny because I think that's when I really started realizing that I had a gift, was actually playing games in my head. Like, I know this is going to happen, and it would be something like really random, and that's how I started actually coming into my gifts.
Hers was with a part. I remember you talking about parking spots. You would be
just stupid.
I'm going to get the best parking spot when I get to Kohl's, and she does.
And then it would happen.
So, Sarah, I'm really curious about this past year. You said year and a half. So, what happened? What triggered you there? Like, what happened?
I think. I think like most people, I'm sure I'm not the only one. I think there's a huge awakening that happened in COVID, in the pandemic. It's so before COVID, before I had this awakening, I was agnostic. Like, I believed in something, but I didn't have a name for it. I didn't have an understanding for it. I also was kind of atheist in there too, because there was a part of me that was like afraid to want to believe in something. So I was kind of a little bit of everything. But after COVID, I mean, everything, of course, everything just stopped. And I was first time in my life where I was like, oh, well, what do I want? What do I want out of life? And I've been reading tarot for like 15 years. It's just kind of a pastime I did for myself, and totally was in the closet about it. I didn't want anyone to know.
Did you do it for friends or anybody?
I did it for friends and like close family members. people who I felt, who knew me and knew that I was more open spiritually, but I didn't like advertise it or anything like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And then the living situation too was rather toxic a year ago. So I mean, I literally was in a locked box under my bed. But
Oh,
I still relied on my tarot, and I had developed a trust relationship with my deck. I really started learning, like, okay, my cards, they really support me. They want what's best for me, and kind of just, I know that's weird because they're just paper and cards.
no, it
No,
makes
it's not.
sense.
No.
Makes total
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's
sense.
not. When you have that relationship, there, it's like a living, breathing thing.
It
Um,
is.
It talks. It
it
has
does.
personality. It'll be funny
Totally.
sometimes and be
And
like
yeah.
sarcastic sometimes and really
And
Mhm.
I've always
hug you
said,
sometimes.
anybody can read cards, but I think that in order to really read cards, you have to have that instinct and know your cards. You know what I mean? To get the right
Trust
answer.
them.
Yes,
Yeah. I think
It's
exactly.
a
that you
big
have
step.
to.
It's a big step to say, I trust my cards over myself sometimes, because my
Right.
perception, I need some guidance here, and they'll give me another way to look at it. And, you
A,
know,
a big a big thing for me, because like I've been reading for years, but about 5 years ago, yeah, 4 years ago, that's really what I think, when my journey with tarot went from just doing it for fun to like, oh, there's real medicine here. Like, this isn't
was there a
just,
moment? Was there
Yeah.
like a moment for you, or was it like a gradual period of time or?
no, actually, I would say it was a moment. It was a turning point. It was actually, I was in a situation where my ex-husband was not very, he was fighting his own demons. And unfortunately, it was just not a very good environment for me and my daughter. And it was a combination of the cards, and I was visited by like 4 ravens. It was a really
Oh,
cool
wow.
experience. Yeah, I got woken up. So I was on the second floor balcony of my apartment complex, and so my dogs at the time, like, they never barked because they never saw anybody. All of a sudden, I got woken up at like 6 in the morning to my dog just going ballistic at my back porch. And so I got up to go get her, and just sitting perfectly still, completely not even bothered by this big Springer Spaniel jumping and clawing on the door. About like 4 feet from my door was a raven just sitting there staring at me. And
Wow.
it was like, it felt like it was there to tell me something. And then, of course, I didn't know anything about like the meaning of raven. So I looked it up and found out that it's very similar to the phoenix and dying and rebirth. And at that point, I was really trying to decide whether or not I should leave my ex-husband and start a new life, which was terrifying because I was a stay-at-home mom. But I pulled out my cards, and that was really the turning point. That was when I realized, like, okay, these cards really have my best interest. And from there on, they've just been very consistent. But that was the moment where things were like, okay, there's something here. I still was agnostic. I still didn't have a name for it. I still didn't have an understanding for it, but I started to build that faith with the deck. And I think that was
That's
the big thing.
amazing.
It is a really cool
Yes.
story. But
That feeling. Oh, I
yeah,
love
you
it.
just know something. You know it.
Yes.
What do you said you still were agnostic. Do you have a belief system that you built around the abilities now, or do you consider like anything like that? Or okay.
Yeah. So about a year ago, a little over a year ago, I left the toxic living situation that I was
Good.
in, and got my own apartment. And um, I was doing a lot of driving. When I'm not doing my cards, I do DoorDash deliveries. So I do a lot of food delivery, which means I'm in the car and driving a lot. And so I just thought, I want to look at podcasts. I never listened to them before, but I was getting tired of my music. It just kind of felt like same old, same old. So I started listening to podcasts, and I wanted something grounding and spiritual. And the first podcast was spiritual with psychology, which I was like, okay, this is grounding. This isn't woo woo. I can deal with this.
Yeah.
But then just the more I listened, everything just started resonating. I started branching out and listening to other ones that were more spiritual. And what I've come to the conclusion is that we are literally all connected. We're all one. I believe in past lives now, which I used to think was weird. And now I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
that totally
Me too.
resonates. And
Mhm.
I think that the whole goal here is we're on Earth School. We're here to learn. We're here to grow. We're here to work out karma from the past. And
those are my words, girl.
yeah.
Exactly.
So it's just like, I don't really have like, I still don't adhere to a religion, but it's more, I understand now what I believe. And I think before that's what I lacked. I didn't have that faith of what am I connecting to? Who is out there?
Spirit. You're a
Yeah.
spiritual person
Yeah.
now. You're spiritual, not religious, but spiritual.
That's just awesome.
And
now, I may have oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I may have misunderstood you, but I thought you said you saw 4 ravens, or did
Oh, yes. So
I was curious.
It was,
Me too.
So it was that one raven that was on my my porch or whatever.
Balcony.
But, yeah, balcony. Thank you. But it was actually right before that. So before my dog started going ballistic, I was hearing ravens, and they were like flying. And so I remember before I saw that one, or no, I was woken up to that one. So I guess it was right after that one did finally fly away. I saw like 4 or 5 of them just flapping. Like it kind of reminded me of a movie, because I could just see like wings flapping and passing by. And I was like, and the thing is too, is ravens don't travel in groups. Those are crows. This was absolutely
That's
a raven.
really weird.
They have like really specific, sounds. Like they croak, they don't caw, they have very specific sounds. So these were definitely ravens, and there was like 4 of them, but they don't normally travel in groups. No. So that was another thing that I was like, well, that's interesting. So
did you ever draw any meaning from that for you personally, that there were 4 ravens in particular? Does that mean anything for you now? Other than how unusual it is?
Well, I guess sort of. I mean, I've always loved the phoenix. The phoenix has always been like my favorite mythological bird. And along with that, the death card in my tarot deck is literally one of my favorite cards in the whole deck, which is kind of taboo.
No,
you should be a Scorpio, not a Cancer. No. She says she's a Cancer. You sound like a Scorpio.
Yeah, I definitely am very much so that's kind of brings me to like, I know I mentioned to you that I really like to focus on soul tarot. And so that's, I think, why death is like my favorite card, because it is all about transformation.
Yes.
It's like, I think so many people, they see death, they're like, oh no, that's terrifying. Or they see the devil, or they see the tower. And I'm over here like, bring it on. Like, that's some
I'm bored.
Those are some good cards. And I mean, they don't always, and I know that sometimes it can come up and they could be scary. I mean, there are times where I draw it and I'm like, oh no. Okay. There are times where I'll draw like the tower and I'm like, why is that here? Why is that happening now? But I've also learned that the tower, well, first of all, I don't believe that there are any bad or negative cards. I think that they all come with medicine. They all come with a meaning to help be a light and a guide. So I don't think that any cards are happening to you. Yeah. They're there to
guide you. Yeah.
So when I see the tower, I've learned to go, okay, there's something that I need to clear out. There's something that's in my foundation that needs to go. And if it doesn't go, the whole thing is going to come down. So I got to figure out how to get rid of this, rotting piece in my foundation. So,
that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
So I have a question for you. It just popped into my head. When you read tarot, I have that same kind of point of view. Every card, there's something positive to take out of it from every person and every situation. Like to me, the card will mean something different sometimes to every person, or if you have regular clients, like that client always has the King of Wands as her husband or something like that, they start to represent. And do you think that the cards themselves have like an energy that talks with you, or do you think it's yourself? How do you think it works, tarot? And when you're getting into, you like to transform and help people get through it. So how does that work together?
So I
good question.
See it. Yeah, I love that question. I don't really see it as me or the cards. I see it more as the cards are a tool and spirit is showing up for me. So I just feel into what's coming up, because like you said, sometimes I'll pull a card and I'm like, it's not the meaning that I share isn't even the traditional meaning I would share with the card. That's just like, oh no, this is what's coming up. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's coming from somewhere.
That happens to me a lot.
Yeah, where I
Yeah, like
just, and sometimes I question it. I'm like, that okay, I'm just
I
gonna
do too.
say it.
I won't tell
Um,
them I'm questioning it unless it's really big thing.
yeah, like I had one client who was asking about a coworker who she didn't know very well, and like what you thought of her. And I was getting like, he was very insecure. He was very like, he kind of made me seem, he seemed very feminine, just the way I was describing him, very like intimidated by her. And as I'm sharing this, it's just not your typical male energy.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there going, is this right? Am I totally off? It just, and she's like, oh my God, he's so quiet around me. He's so, I mean, I've learned to just go with what comes up, because it usually pans out. There's some kind of message that they hear. And so that's just, whenever I do cards, I always try to take a moment to ground and meditate and just say, guide me and help me discern my intuition, so that way I can give the message that they need to hear. Because the way I see it is, I don't really see me as the person who's coming up with the stuff. I don't see the cards either just alone coming up with the stuff. I think it's like it all needs to come together, and it starts with spirit being willing to show up
Yes.
for it.
Yeah.
I think if you don't ask spirit before you do your readings, you're not going to get as good of a reading, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I do it every time and it works, like clockwork,
I always ask my
Yeah.
spirit guides. I'm always like, Sam, Morgana, are you guys here? And they'd be like,
Help
hey.
me.
They'll pop in, and it's really strange whenever right before a reading, I'm always whatever, but as soon as it starts, it's like do you have that, Sarah? Like a Misty, like
Mm-hmm.
everything just kind of comes together once that connection's made. And it's just a really good
Yeah.
feeling and everything syncs up. It's almost like time stops in that little
I
15
love it. I
Yeah.
Yeah,
love
that's
to
a good way
watch
to put
you
it.
do a reading. I love to watch you do readings. I mean, your face and the way that you just kind of go into another world. It's so fun.
No, that is
Like,
it's
I've never told
imagination
you
is
that.
a
Yeah.
no.
I love
That
it though.
that sounds really similar to me, because like it's so frustrating, because if I want to, I'm trying to build my business and do more social media, and I don't know, I'm really struggling in that
It's hard to
department.
get motivated to
Um,
do that, and if you haven't done
and
it before.
creative, and yeah, and knowing what to do, and
Confidence. Yeah.
Confidence,
so
yeah.
I'll go back and I'll watch some videos of like prior readings, and I'm like, how am I speaking so smoothly? How is, like, listen to the words that are coming in my mouth. They sound so poetic. And when I get in front of a camera with just me, I'm like, it's not happening. So
You have to
it's
do it a
definitely, I'm
lot.
connected.
Yeah, the more you
Okay.
do it, it just gets so, like, normalized that you don't
Natural.
freak out
Yeah.
anymore, like, it'll be exciting almost if you like doing them, like doing doing the tarot for people. So you look like, I mean, everyone who's been on here who's a professional has seemed like a real healer to me, and you definitely seem called to heal people in the most, like when they're at their, like, rock
Like their souls.
bottom. Yeah, like you're
Yeah.
Yeah.
like a
Heal the
shaman.
souls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's
a
what
good way to
I
put
was
it.
thinking.
You
Yeah.
remind me of
Because
that shaman energy. Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
she
thank
does.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's cool.
I would say that when it comes to readings, my favorite are those that come and just say, what do I need to know? What would spirit have me know? Or, or they get more specific about an area of their life, but they focus more on themselves and how they could be guided. Those are my
Yeah.
favorite
Yeah.
clients.
Me too.
Yeah,
Because
you can go where you want with it. Yeah,
But also,
wherever they want
yes,
to take
yes.
you.
they're ready
Wait.
for some changes. They're ready for it if they're coming
Yes.
to you for it like that.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's and those are my favorite, because it's like, that's what I do. That's what I love to focus on. And that's what comes naturally when I get, and I get a lot of clients that are more interested in love, and is he coming back, and is
Right.
he cheating on me, or me, whatever. And I have, even those though, I've gotten pretty good about, I share with them what they need to know. And then I usually try and shift it. Like, so why don't I look at your higher self and see what your higher self wants you to know about this
Yes.
situation?
Yes.
And
Make it
a lot of the
positive.
make
Yeah.
it positive and bring it back to them, because I think a lot of people who aren't self-aware, they miss the part that tell, they miss their own accountability in the situation.
Yeah.
And not just accountability, but empowerment, because like I have so many clients that will be like, oh, well, does he still love me? And obviously he's not good for her, and he might still love her. And I hate sharing that. I'm like, there are feelings there, but
she needs to love herself. Yeah.
Exactly.
This guy not treating you right. It is
And
hard. It is hard sometimes to have those long-term clients who are with someone who's not good for them. But you stay there and you help. That's some transformation stuff. Stay years and years
when you
watching.
see it. Yeah.
And then it does transform eventually. Something does happen almost always, you know.
And I love to share with them too. Like the most important piece that I do try to share with them is, just because he may want to still be with you or he may still love you, does that mean he is good for you? And I love to turn that around, because I don't think that they've thought, many of these, not all, but I think many of these particular clients haven't thought about the flip side. And so
you love him, or they love you love them.
And or, is he good for you? Is he, you have that choice. You can say, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm going to choose me instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody just wants to feel loved, I think.
Yeah.
And that's why that comes in. Does he love me? Does she love me? Well, let's stop for a minute and love ourselves, and then it won't matter.
It's hard though. It's not just that easy. Like
I know.
Yeah.
It's easier
out with
said
myself.
than done.
Oh yeah, no, that is a life's work. Is what that's
that's what we're here
Soul
for.
Tarot. Because the way I see it too is it's like it's. I mean, for me personally, it's just constantly. I'm always challenged daily, and where I have to.
Yeah, it's a hard
look
job.
Back and. And self-love is it's very triggering. You have to be up for the task. It's hard.
It is. But once you get there though, I think it's the greatest gift you can give yourself.
I think it's a lifelong battle too. Not really battle, I guess, but it's like a true relationship. It's up and down.
It is. Yeah. And I think you're totally right.
So the way that I read tarot, it's based off of, are you guys familiar with Lindsay Mack, with that name?
No.
Okay. No. So she actually coined the name Soul Tarot, and she has all these courses. She has a podcast called Tarot for the Wild Soul. So I just want to disclaimer, a lot of my point of view has come from what I learned from her.
That's so cool. I will check that out.
Yeah, I will.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. I totally recommend checking her out. Just her energy alone is just so calming awesome. And
what's
healing.
Her name again?
Lindsay Mack.
Okay.
But I definitely found that finding her was also a game changer for me, because so a year ago, like I said, I had that spiritual awakening, and it was after these podcasts, I just started, it was so funny too, because right when I decided, okay, I'm going to just start listening to spiritual podcasts and I want to believe in something, I just got this download, and that's the only way I could describe it. So I guess it was my first real hit, intuitive hit that was direct, but it said, you need to not keep alcohol in the house anymore. And I was like, what? It was so weird.
First you said no. What?
Yeah. Why?
Well, it's funny too, because at the time that was my question. Because okay, so I'm not an alcoholic, but I do have family members who are, and I have to be mindful of that. But I am a single mother and my daughter's dad, he and I did not see eye to eye. Unfortunately, he did pass away. So it's I'm completely alone. And so I'm a full-time working single mom. And so at the time I was having a glass of wine a night, give or take. I never really went to the excess. Yeah. Exactly. And it was, normalized too. Oh yeah, get that glass of wine, you worked and you put your kid to bed.
Yeah.
And, you know, but then I got this download that says, if you want to do this work, you have to not keep alcohol in the house. It was just clear as day. And my first question was, why?
It was definitely because that's what I would have said.
But I did it. And it was a little rough at first. I tried to find loopholes, and now I found that alcohol I just don't drink it too much, because it just does not, it gets in the way. And I'm seeing why now. Back then I was like, I don't get it. Now I get it. But that
Right.
was, just the beginning. And I started doing meditations and grounding. And then I was looking for my purpose, and I kept getting tarot because I've been doing it for 15 years, but I kept saying, no, I don't know the cards well enough. I don't know, I was still using my book a year ago.
You're
to,
using your excuses.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yes. And then I want to say it was in March. Oh no, I had my tower moment. One of my contracting jobs fell through, and I had to find something, and it just came through clear as day. Work on your business, work on your tarot business. And I was like, okay, well, what else do I have to lose at this point?
Right.
So yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's how I kind of fell into this work too. I was always pulled when I did it. Like you probably had a pull too, like work wasn't just like what did I do? Okay, I'll do this. You wanted
Yeah,
to,
no,
right?
I had been thinking
Yeah.
about it for a couple months, but I kept saying no.
Yeah, you wanted to. And I kind of kept saying I want to, but then my editing business got slandered and I couldn't get
Mm.
any more business. That's a long time ago. And so I actually was like, this is my chance. I might be able to get a job doing this, for real, professionally, for a job. job.
Yeah.
Like kind of. And it just worked out, and every time I wanted to, I could get into it. And then when I fell out of it into other interests, eventually I came back. So it's just
Because
always
it was your
there.
calling.
that's
I
I don't
mean,
know.
awesome.
I think
Yeah.
we have lots of callings. I
you
think I'm
do,
here to
but
make
this was
people
one
really
of them.
happy.
Yeah.
It's not so
This is
bad.
definitely one of them.
Well, Sarah, if listeners want to find you, where can they find out more about, get a reading from you or anything?
Yeah. So my website is journeythroughtarot.com. All the words are spelled out.
I'll put it
Um,
in the podcast description too.
Thank you. And then I on Instagram, Journey Through Tarot. I'm also on TikTok, Journey Through Tarot. I'm a baby in this, so there's not a lot there, but I am trying to be consistent in putting things together.
Awesome.
But I do have.
I'll follow you.
Oh, thank you.
I will too.
I'll follow you guys back.
Followers.
We're all following. Like, who's leading?
Spirit. Spirit, yes.
Spirit. Missy, do you have any questions for Sarah? Do you have anything burning desire to know about?
Well, so much of what she has said basically has literally came out of my mouth. So, there's not any questions because like we have the same brain as far as thinking and spirituality. I just love the way that she put a lot of, her words in. It was awesome. So I am so glad that we got to interview her and talk to her because it's been fun.
It has been fun. Thank you, Sarah. I'd like to also thank our sponsor, EverClear. EverClear is an advice app where you can get your advice from psychics and empaths so you can get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve. And any last words to the listeners, Sarah? Anything you want to tell them or teach them or get through?
Well, the best thing I could say is if you want to, grow spiritually, kind of like I've kind of shared, starting, if you haven't already, or if you feel like you're in a rut or you just want to go deeper, start with yourself. Start with unblocking old past triggers. And that's what Soul Tarot is all about, is really just going back and figuring out what is holding you back and clearing it out. And, just start there.
That's great
Everything
advice.
else will open.
That's great advice.
Perfect.
It gives you time just sitting down. Try it.
Think.
We don't do that enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Meditate.
Listeners, I love you. And Misty, I'm telling the listeners you love them. Do you love the listeners, Misty?
I love you, listeners.
Sarah, do you love Yes, I do.
Yes, of course. I'm so grateful to be here.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This is We're All Psychic, over and out.